Hello everyone. Now this is the first episode I'm doing that has editing in it. Why did I wait to do this until now? Well, I realized that it used to take longer to concentrate when I knew in advance that I was going to be cutting out long pauses. But considering how well the Nintendo Defender versus Nintendo Destroyer video went with editing, you know? Considering how well that went, why not do the same thing for Behemoth Blogmaster? Like, seriously. I know some people like the whole casualness of Behemoth Blogmaster and just want it to stay that way, but we gotta evolve, man. We just gotta evolve. Because I want to distance myself as far away from those 2019 videos as possible. But anyways, because I'm now cutting out pauses in videos, I might be lowering the duration minimum of a video. Or an episode, excuse me. Depending on how much shorter the episode will be without the pauses, that will determine on how low the minimum will be. This is kind of a juicy episode, so it probably will be at least 6 minutes, probably even longer than that. But for a more simple episode, I will have to wait and see. I'm trying to get my mind set for just no less than 5 minutes, but I'll just have to wait and see. Okay, now, one more bit of news. If you don't care about the news, you could have clicked that timestamp by now. But anyways, the Momo episode, remember that one? It was alright. Well, but the thumbnail for it is just too scary for people. I've heard people complaining too much about it being too much for them. You know what? I kind of agree. So, on January 22nd of this year, I finally decided to change it to a more cartoon version of Momo. I hope that'll help. I really do. But it has to resemble Momo in some form or fashion, because that's what the episode topic itself is. I can't just put, like, a picture of McDonald's on there. No, it's gotta be Momo in some form or capacity. It took a while for it to register that the thumbnail was changed. Now, you might not know this, but when I'm uploading a new video, it usually takes a while for it to register on my channel that there's a new video. Like, okay, so I'm uploading it, and I also have my phone with me to upload it as well, to change anything I need to change. And whenever I go to YouTube on my phone immediately after it's been uploaded, it doesn't register immediately. That makes sense, though, because the internet's kind of slow, at least right now it is, and it kind of makes sense. But this was like over a week. My guess is that it was almost 2 years, and I'm just now changing the thumbnail, so it's like, wait, hold on, what? I really hope that's the last time I got to do that, but anyways, on with the topic of the episode. So this is a sequel to episode 54, A Toy's Life. If you haven't seen that episode yet, I highly recommend it before you watch this one. But in this episode, we're going to discuss if there's potential for a possible Toy Story 5. Yeah, that's right, another one. Could they do anything with it? Some fans are actually saying they should make a Toy Story 5. Well, most are just wanting it to end already, like me. But, you know, as much as I don't like the idea of them making Toy Story 5, I will have to admit there might be a little bit of potential left. I personally think they need to close the book already, because they kind of sealed their own coffin with the ending of Toy Story 4. Like, before Toy Story 4 even came out, and we didn't know the plot for it yet, we were already like, no Toy Story 5, please. They're gonna do it, but please don't. But with the ending of Toy Story 4, when Woody just leaves Buzz and the other toys, that kind of sealed their own coffin. How do you get them back together? It can't just be Woody and Bo Peep and other toys. Like, there's gotta be Buzz in there too, right? I mean, there's not much you can do at this point with the story. Somehow they made 8 Harry Potter movies and had them all be good, but that's like live action or something. This is animated. I don't know what difference that makes, but yeah, whatever. So in A Toy's Life, I stated that Toy Story 4 was just alright. It wasn't like too special or anything, but I really gotta rewatch the movie because, I mean, I do remember it lacking some of the Toy Story flair, but I would still call it at least a good movie. Probably not okay, just good. But yeah, it did lack some of the things that made Toy Story a unique franchise to begin with. I don't remember if it was as good as the other 3. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but I'll have to rewatch it. Now, this isn't the exact wording, but I was basically like, you know, in A Toy's Life, I don't care how confident you are that you can make another good plot. Toy Story 5 should not exist. And I basically still stand by that. That wasn't exactly how I worded it, but that's basically what I was implying. I mean, let's talk about locations real quick. Every film needs to have its own unique location, every sequel of a film. It's a own unique plot, own unique setting, stuff like that. So that's why Home Alone 2, some people didn't care for that one because it's the same plot, but just in New York. When it comes to making a sequel, we wanted to see the story continue, not freaking just repeat. Now, well, let's talk about locations. So, Toy Story, the first one, takes place in a kid's house and his neighbor's house. That's the main setting for this film. Toy Story 2 is basically a toy store and a toy collector's house. Like a toy collector, you know, their office or whatever, and maybe their house. Well, actually, they live in a penthouse, so their office is their house. But anyways. Now, Toy Story 3, the main location for that one would have been Sunnyside Daycare. And finally, Toy Story 4 was an antique shop and a carnival. So, yeah, those are all unique locations, and each one has enough plot to stand on its own legs to be its own film. Now, there was going to be a different plot for Toy Story 3 that takes place mostly in a repair house. You see, Buzz got damaged or something, and he got to be shipped to Taiwan to get repaired. It's either that or get destroyed entirely if it's unrepairable, but so maybe they could do something similar to that in Toy Story 5. If you absolutely have to make a fifth film, which I don't think you do, but if you got to, it should revolve around the warehouse. Like where the toys get repaired or destroyed if they're unrepairable. It doesn't have to take place in Taiwan, but it could be just some sort of warehouse where they fix up toys or burn toys or whatever. Now, if you can somehow connect the pieces I'm trying to make here, Woody gets damaged while exploring with Bo Peep, right? Probably because he's a really old toy. Like, think about it. Andy's probably in his 30s right now. And probably has a kid of his own. He's probably like 3 decades old at least, so he's becoming a pretty old-ass toy. Now, my idea here is that it could involve newer toys with newer technology in them, and that makes Woody become obsolete because he's from like the 80s or 90s or whatever. Some people actually want Woody to be destroyed because he's so old. Especially now that he doesn't have his voice box anymore. If you watch Toy Story 4, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But so, he's not that special anymore. I mean, he's special, but he's not that, what's the word, innovative? Along the way, the old gang from the first 4 films also somehow end up in the warehouse and need to rescue Woody from getting destroyed. Like, maybe a toy of their group becomes damaged and also needs to be fixed or something if it can. I don't know. If you somehow know how to make a movie with those points I just made, then you're good as gold. You do the rest. Come up with more unique locations. They're kind of running low on those, but if you can somehow come up with more unique locations that's not just a repeat of a previous film, then go ahead. Now, even with that stated, I still don't think Toy Story 5 needs to come out because that'd be the biggest cash grab in history. But when it comes to characters, though, I'm sure you have enough to make it to Toy Story 25. Like, you can come up with so many toy ideas. But you need more than just characters to make a good movie, so. Now, we're almost done here, but they recently announced a spin-off to Toy Story called Lightyear, which is about the human version of Buzz and not the toy Buzz. So, it has a different voice actor instead of Tim Allen, but it's probably because this is not the toy version of Buzz, it's the human version of Buzz that the toy is based off of. So, they're making a Toy Story spin-off, which is probably a better idea than just making a 5th film entirely. Well, guys, that was this episode. I'm sorry to be abrupt as usual, but that's really all I have to say, so. Tell me if you like this new style of Behemoth Vlogmaster, because that's how it's going to continue, I believe. So, I'm sorry for you casual fans, but this is how it's going to go, so. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.